USA's trip to the World Cup. Was it a bust? Did it meet your expectations? Let's review their trip and I'll give you my thoughts. The USA opened up with Wales. We played very well in the first half, dominated. Throughout the whole game, we actually did have 59% possession, and we ended up scoring in the first half in the 36th minute with Weah scoring and an assist from Christian Pulisic. Then we kind of relaxed in the second half. After it went to halftime, we relaxed. We were too comfortable with a 1-0 lead. Instead of the game off and putting us up 2-0, we let it hang around to the 1-0. And then in the 82nd minute, Walker Zimmerman had a mistake. It wasn't on purpose, and I don't blame him. It just happened. And he fouls Bale in the box, which leads to a Bale's 82nd minute PK, which ended in a 1-1 draw against Wales. So then in the USA's second matchup, we had England. It was a very hyped up game all around the world. USA versus England, or maybe not even all around the world. Maybe it was just here in the US, but neither team had very many chances. And I do believe that the US looked pretty well through most of it and could have had a couple of chances to score, but England also had a couple good chances and they could have scored too. And I think that if someone did score in this game, it would have opened it up to even more. But unfortunately, we ended up getting a 0-0 draw against England. So then we move on to the third group stage match, which is against Iran, and we have to win to move on. Again, the U.S. looked very dominant in the first half, and it looked like an attacking team in my opinion, and we looked very well. And then in the 38th minute, we score a goal to put us up 1-0, and Christian puts it in the back of the net. Then we come into the second half, and again, we just sat back. I don't know if I really agree with that. We should have tried to press for a second goal, and in this game, we got lucky, and nothing happened, and we ended up beating Iran 1-0 to move us to the round of 16. Now, unfortunately, for our last match in the round of 16, we were up against Netherlands, and we ended up losing this match 3-1 open against the goalkeeper in the second minute right off the bat. And he made it very simple for the keeper to catch it and just move on. I don't think he caught it, but it was an easy save. And then not even 8 minutes later, there was a cross into the box. Memphis was unmarked, and it was a nice, simple goal for him, and that puts the Netherlands up 1-0. So after that, the U.S. had some chances to tie it up, and they didn't look bad in the first half, but then right before halftime, pretty much the identical same play happens where Dumfries puts it across, and again, another player, Blind, wide open, unmarked, puts it in the back of the net, and going into halftime, we are down 2-0. So we go into the second half, and the U.S. had some opportunities. It was a very stale and static second half at the beginning, and there was a lot of times throughout this match it was very, to me, very boring to watch. But then finally we get a chance, and in the 76th minute, we got lucky, and Haji Bright had a deflection off of his foot go over his head and into the goal. The goalkeeper missed it, and one of the defensemen could not get to it. So at this point in time, it made the game 2-1, and it kind of pushed us a little bit more, and we got the momentum, and we started trying. And then again, they come down, and in the 81st minute, Dumfries wide open, pretty much in the middle of the 18-yard box, and he solidifies the game for Netherlands, and he puts it in the back of the net, which made us lose and made us go home with a 3-1 loss to the Netherlands. Now, for my thoughts on the U.S. men's national team, I thought and really liked the way that we played against Wales and Iran in the first half, that attacking style football. That's what I want. I think that's what we are best at. We are not a good team by setting back. And I think that we could have scored more goals against both of these teams. And just all around, the first half of this game are what I like to see. Now, as for the England game, I thought that we played an overall good game. I think that we should have scored against them, and that's our biggest thing. Our scoring ability for the U.S. men's national team is not very good. I think we had chances against England. Also, again, like I said earlier, England had chances also, but I believe that we could have snuck away with a win against England. I know that's bold of me to say, but I think that we could have if we could have just put one in the back of the net. Another big issue for me is that we got out of the group stages by only scoring 2 goals. I know it is whatever it takes to get out of the group stage is what you need to do, but I think that we are a better team than that, and I think that we should have scored more than just 2 goals in that group stage. Now, for the Netherlands game, in my opinion, defensively, we were absolutely horrible. We could not defend. We did not mark. We had moments. We had good moments, like Christian in the second minute being able to score. I think that his injury did still mess with him. If you go back and look at that game and some of his shots, he just couldn't put enough power on those shots. So I would say either fatigue and the injury combined just made it where his shot was not strong enough. He should have shot with more power on 1 or 2 of his other shots, and there was just no power there, in my opinion. But I think overall in this matchup, fatigue was a big factor. I think that we could have went back and did a little bit more rotation. We have good players. I would like to see why Gio Reyna was not on the field. I'd like to know why, not see why. I'd like to know why Gio Reyna was not on the field as much as he should have been. Was his injury still a big part of it, even though he's saying that he was 100%? And then also Brendan Aronson. He can step in and take over, one of those roles in the midfield or even put him on a wing. And we could have rest guys, I feel like, or even started him and brought Weston McKennie or Yunus Musa on. You could tell that both McKennie and Musa were very tired, like especially at the end of the Iran game. You could really see that Musa was giving everything that he had because he was just he was struggling to get up and down the field there at the end of that match. But I think that is my thoughts on it for that. I think that we could have done more rotation. But to answer the question, was the U.S.'s World Cup a bust and did it meet my expectations? I don't believe that it was a bust by all means. I think that it was a good experience for our young guys, for them to get that, to play in a World Cup. And I just think that it's not a bust for what came out of it. Now, did they meet my expectations? I expected more. We were the second youngest team in World Cup. We had the youngest starting lineup, I think, in every match, I believe. But a lot of these guys have played together since they were little guys. I mean, we're looking that they've played together for 10 plus years in that kind of setting for the national team. So I think in that aspect, I think that we could have done a little bit better. Also, another thing is these players, some of them have played in big games for both their club and their country that they made an impact in. Yes, those are different players in the club setting, but still as an individual and the way that they play, there's some guys that have played in pretty big games, so they should know that atmosphere, and especially it was at a neutral site for everyone. So that also plays in a role to me. But fatigue, I think, is really what hurt us. My expectations against Wales were higher. I think that we should have beat them at least 2-1 or even 2-0. Yes, that was a very unfortunate penalty. And then also Iran. I think that we should have beat them by 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals. Don't get me wrong, Iran is a very good team, but England came out and beat them as bad as they did. Why couldn't we? That's my question to it. Again, it's the setting back in the second half that you got to keep pushing, in my opinion. These guys are not good just setting back. These guys need to be on the attack and trying to create chances. So that is my take on it. And finally, with that on the take, I think that defensively, I was not expecting us to be that terrible against the Netherlands. I don't know what happened there, what broke down, maybe no communication on the back line or midfield not getting back. I'm not sure what was happening, but I think I was very I'm very sad of how that worked out, and my expectations were not met in that one. But also, it was not a bust in my eyes for the viewership that it broke in the US, like the records that were broke in the US for these matchups, and more people watching and tuning in. And I had people from back when I went to school messaging me and asking me what I thought, and we were having conversations, and I had family members asking about it, and they're watching and getting invested into it. And I really like that. I think that's going to help the sport grow. And some of these guys and ladies that I've talked to, they're going to start watching more of soccer. And I think that also plays into the role of my decision that it is not a bust for this World Cup. I do expect a lot more for World Cup 2026, especially since it's on home turf. And I think that between now and then, the fans are going to grow here in the U.S., and I'm super excited for that. Then back to the players, players like Tyler Adams and even Christian Pulisic. These guys are going to get more respect, I believe, now after this World Cup and the performances that they put in. And actually, a lot of the guys, I think that they will get more respect and maybe get chances in better leagues. So it is turning around in the U.S., the soccer culture, and I am beyond excited, and I cannot wait for it all to explode, and I'm really excited for World Cup 2026. I can't wait to see our journey for that. I also can't wait to see how these players grow. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be in that 2026 World Cup. I'm also excited to see who's going to come out of the woodworks that we don't even know about yet, that we haven't even talked about yet, and that could possibly make an impact on that 2026 World Cup. I have so much hope, and I'm very proud of these guys and what they have accomplished. And I'm more, like I've said before, I'm more than excited for what is going to happen in this future of the U.S. men's national team. As always, though, thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content, please subscribe, and be happy for others. And we'll see you next time.